Have you ever noticed how your dog just comes running the second you even touch their leash?
Oh,
Tail going crazy, totally ready.
oh yeah.
Or maybe that, like automatic reflex. You hear your phone buzz with a certain notification, and you just reach for it without thinking.
Mm-hmm. Happens all the time.
These aren't just, random things. They feel like these little daily mysteries, right? Like an invisible dance we're doing.
Yeah.
But what if these simple automatic reactions actually hold the key to understanding a huge part of how we learn and, well, how we behave?
That's exactly what we're digging into.
Right. So today, we're doing a deep dive into what psychologists call the behavioral concept. Unlike maybe some other times where we've talked about, hidden stuff or the unconscious.
Right, the inner workings.
Exactly. This time, we're focused strictly on what we can actually see and measure. Our actions, our reactions.
It's like being a detective who only cares about the evidence you can actually see.
The footprints left behind, yeah.
Mm.
We're examining the observable signs of how learning actually happens.
And the foundational idea here really is the belief that almost all our behaviors, they're learned through how we interact with the world around us.
Okay.
Think of the mind less like it's pre-programmed and more like a blank slate and experiences right on that slate.
A blank slate, I like that.
Yeah, and to figure out the rules of how that writing happens, behaviorists use, proper scientific methods, experiments, careful observation, trying to uncover the rules of this learning game we're all in.
Okay, so our mission then for this deep dive is to really unpack this great learning machine.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to explore the main ways we pick up these behaviors, and hopefully by the end you'll see how, well, super useful understanding this can be in just everyday life.
Absolutely. It's very practical.
All right, let's get into it. So let's start exploring this learning machine with maybe the most famous example, right? Classical conditioning.
The classic, yeah.
Right.
Pavlov.
Exactly. This is all about learning to link two things together, things that weren't originally connected, And that link creates an automatic expectation.
Right.
And yeah, the classic case is Pavlov's dogs. They learn to drool just at the sound of a bell.
Because they associated the bell with getting food over and over again.
Yeah, it's like your brain builds this automatic if this, then that connection, often completely unconsciously.
And this isn't just some weird lab thing or just for dogs. It is happening to you, like, constantly.
Okay, like how?
Well, think about maybe you once grabbed a really hot pan
Yeah.
accidentally.
Ouch. Yeah, done that.
Right. So now, maybe even when you see that same pan totally cold sitting on the stove, you might get this tiny flinch, like a little recoil.
Huh. Okay, I can see that.
Your nervous system basically made a link. The sight of the pan is now tied to that memory of pain automatically.
So it's anticipating.
Exactly. Or maybe you feel this little jolt of anxiety the second you hear your phone buzz with a work email notification, even if it's Sunday afternoon.
Uh-huh. Definitely felt that.
That specific sound has been classically conditioned through repetition to trigger a bit of a stress response because you associate it with work demands. Your body's basically saying, oh no, here we go again.
Wow. Okay, so that's the automatic link.
Yeah.
But sometimes our behavior seems shaped more by what happens after we act.
Precisely. And that takes us into the next big area, operant conditioning.
Okay.
This one is fundamentally about consequences. We learn, basically, to repeat actions that lead to good outcomes, things we like.
Rewards.
Rewards, yeah. What we call positive reinforcement. And we learn to avoid actions that lead to bad outcomes.
Punishments or undesirable stuff.
Exactly.
So let's break that down. Rewards first. Positive reinforcement makes a behavior happen more often.
That's the idea. Anything that follows a behavior and makes you more likely to do that behavior again in the same situation, it strengthens the action.
Okay, so maybe a kid helps at the dinner table and their parents give them genuine praise, a smile, That positive feedback makes them more likely to help out next time. It reinforces the helping.
Perfect example. Or, think simpler. You go to a vending machine, you push a button, and out pops a tasty snack.
Nice.
That immediate, desirable result makes you much more likely to push that same button again next time you want a snack from that machine.
It's like the universe saying, good job, do that again.
Pretty much. The positive outcome reinforces the button pushing.
Okay, so that's the reward side. What about the other side? Punishments. They make behavior happen less.
Correct. Punishments work to decrease the likelihood of a behavior by either introducing something unpleasant after the behavior or by taking away something desirable.
Right. So maybe you decide to speed on the highway. Not that you would, listener.
Of course not.
But if someone speeds and they get pulled over and get a hefty fine. Ouch.
Yeah.
That direct negative consequence, it probably makes them, well, less likely to speed again, at least right there.
Definitely decreases the odds. Or think about a child who misbehaves. Maybe they get a timeout. So they're removed from a fun activity, something they like. That's an unpleasant consequence for them. They learn to avoid whatever behavior led to the timeout.
It's like the universe saying, nope, don't do that one.
Exactly. It's a clear signal from the environment that action led to something bad, so don't repeat it.
Okay, so we've got classical conditioning, linking things automatically, and operant conditioning, learning from consequences, rewards, and punishments.
Right.
But here's where this great learning machine gets even more interesting, I think. What if you didn't even have to get the reward or the punishment yourself to learn?
Now you're getting into social learning theory.
Right. It has this whole other layer, doesn't it? We don't just learn from our own direct experiences. We learn a ton just by watching other people.
A huge amount. This is where role models become so important, for better or worse.
Yeah. So how much of what we do is just imitation? Maybe without even realizing it.
Well, think about it. How fast do kids pick up new slang words or, the latest dance craze they see online?
Instantly. Or adults too, for that matter.
Exactly. They aren't necessarily getting a direct reward for saying the word or doing the dance. They're observing other people, maybe their friends, maybe influencers, seeing them get attention or seem cool, and they imitate that behavior. Or maybe a more positive example. Perhaps you learn to handle, say, stressful traffic situations more calmly by watching a friend who's really patient behind the wheel.
Instead of getting all worked up yourself.
Right. You see their calm approach. You see it works out better for them. Maybe they seem less stressed. And you think, hey, that looked effective. Maybe I should try that.
So you learn vicariously through their experience.
Precisely. It's a very powerful way we learn complex social behaviors.
Okay, so we've unpacked these big ideas, classical, operant, social learning. Let's bring it back to the listener. Why does understanding this behavioral view actually matter day to day? What's the real world impact?
Oh, it matters hugely. It touches almost everything. Think about parenting or teaching. Understanding these principles is like a core tool.
How so?
Well, it helps parents and teachers design situations, environments to encourage the behaviors they want to see using praise, maybe small rewards, positive reinforcement, and also to discourage the behaviors they don't want using consistent, fair consequences, like we talked about with punishments or maybe removing privileges. It gives them practical strategies.
And it's not just for dealing with kids, right? What about for ourselves?
Yeah.
Like trying to change a habit.
Absolutely. If you're trying to build a good habit, like, say, exercising more, or maybe break a bad one, like biting your nails or procrastinating.
Yeah, procrastination.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Right. This behavioral framework is super useful. It's not just about vaguely understanding your triggers. It's about actively designing things to help yourself.
Okay, designing. How?
You can set things up to reinforce the behavior you want, make the reward for doing it, like immediate and obvious. Maybe allow yourself 10 minutes of your favorite podcast only after you finish that dreaded task.
Linking the reward directly.
Yeah. Exactly. Or make the unwanted behavior harder, or associate it with a small, immediate negative consequence. You're basically trying to consciously shape your own learning lessons.
Interesting. Actively managing your own consequences.
Yeah. And what's also fascinating is how these ideas are working on us all the time, even when we don't notice, like in advertising.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Advertisers are masters of this stuff. They use classical conditioning all the time, linking their product with images or music that makes you feel good. Happy families, success, fun.
So you start to associate the product with those good feelings.
Precisely. Or they use operant principles, framing their product as the solution that removes a problem, the negative thing, or delivers a desired reward. They are actively trying to condition you to buy.
Makes sense. And I guess it goes beyond just us and big companies. It's useful in, everyday training, too.
Totally. Whether you're teaching your dog to sit using treats, that's operant conditioning right there.
Positive reinforcement.
Exactly. Or you're coaching a sports team, breaking down skills, or even just helping a new colleague learn a work process. You're using principles of reinforcement, maybe modeling.
Social learning.
You become kind of a better architect of learning experiences for others and for yourself once you understand these basic rules.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful, and it explains a lot. But are there limitations or criticisms? Does behaviorism explain everything about why we do what we do?
That's a really important question. And yeah, there are definitely discussions and critiques within psychology.
Like what?
Well, one common point is that maybe the purest forms of behaviorism can sometimes downplay what's going on inside our heads, our thoughts, beliefs, expectations, or internal motivations.
The cognitive stuff.
Exactly. It focuses so much on the observable and it might not fully capture the complexity of our inner mental world, or perhaps even things like innate biological predispositions.
Yeah.
Why might two people react totally differently to the exact same reward or punishment?
Right. Individual differences.
hmm So it might not be the whole picture of human experience, but that being said, even acknowledging those complexities, the core behavioral principles, learning through association, consequences, observation, they remain incredibly robust. They are foundational for understanding so much of why we and other animals act the way we do.
Okay. That makes sense. It's a powerful lens, even if not the only lens.
Precisely. So if we kind of zoom out for the big picture here, the main takeaway from this whole deep dive is really that so much of what we do isn't just random. It's not just happening.
Right.
It's largely a result of our history of experiences, the lessons, explicit or implicit, that we've learned from interacting with our environment. Our actions are like the visible tracks of all that learning.
That's a really powerful idea. It implies a lot of control, maybe, or at least potential for change.
I think so.
It feels like a reminder that if we really want to change how we act, maybe the most effective way isn't just willpower, but actually changing the lessons we're getting.
Exactly. Changing the environment, the cues, the consequences.
All right. Becoming more conscious architects of those lessons for ourselves. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with is this. As you go about your day-to-day, just notice, pay attention. What lessons are your surroundings, your interactions, even your own routines? What are they currently teaching you?